Hi, welcome to my channel. I'm Sarah, and today we're going to be talking about the 13 books that I read in January. I had such a good reading month. I found probably one of my favorite books ever this month. I am so happy that I read it, and I also had my first ever 1-star read. Literally the worst book I've ever read, so we had really high highs and really low lows. So I'm going to talk about everything I read. Off with my first read of the year, it was The Appeal by Janice Hallett. This book was so fun. It is a mystery, a murder mystery about this local theater group, and they get told some pretty bad news about one of the members' children, and it all spirals. Like it says on the front, it says, 1 murder, 15 suspects, can you uncover the truth? And I did not uncover the truth. It was so juicy and so fun. But the thing that makes this book so cool and special is that it's like entirely in like emails and notes and texts. Like it's all like that. I thought it was so fun. It was super gripping. I don't know, I just loved it. This was a 5-star book for me. I absolutely loved it, and I cannot wait to read more by Janice Hallett. Started off the year really strong with that book, and then it got way downhill from there. The next book I read was All I Want by Darcy Bell. I read it on my Kindle, and thank God for that, because I did not have to purchase this book. I saw YouTuber Haley Hughes talk about this book, and she said that it was so good until the last 2 pages. So I was so intrigued. She said after the last 2 pages, she just hated the book. And I just wanted to know. I did not like the book the whole way through. I don't know if that's because I knew Haley didn't like it and I knew it would get ruined. So I just didn't let myself like it, but I just hated this book. And the end just made it... The ending was the worst ending I've ever read. Haley was correct. Yeah, I'm so glad I got it from my library and I did not have to spend my money on this atrocious book. This book was about this woman and her husband who moved to like a super old house in the middle of nowhere, and she starts like seeing things and her husband's like, you're not seeing things. It's just a big old gaslight of a book. It was so bad, in the ending just worst thing I've ever read. Ever. I've read so many books. Worst book I've ever read. Sorry, Darcy Bell. I've liked your other work. Third book I read this month was Reckless Girls by Rachel Hawkins, and it was fun. It is marketed as a thriller. It is not a thriller. I never once was thrilled, scared, nervous, or any of the above. I thought it was interesting. I liked the story, but because it was marketed as a thriller and it just simply was not a thriller to me, I gave it a 2.5 out of 5. It was fun. It's about these people, these 6 people, as the book says, these 6 stunning 20-somethings who go to this island, and the island is like, has bad vibes. That's all you need to know. It was fine. It was fine. Yeah. I like the cover though. It's grown on me. But one thing I did learn this month is that Rachel Hawkins, who writes these thriller novels, also is Erin Sterling, who wrote like the X-Hex and the sequel to the X-Hex that I loved. Cannot remember the name. The Kiss Curse. So I really like her romance. I haven't loved either of the thrillers I've read by Rachel. So 2.5 out of 5. The next book I read in January is This Will All Be Over Soon by Cecily Strong. This is her memoir. Cecily was on SNL up until a few weeks ago. I love Cecily Strong and I love SNL. So I really liked this. I did listen to the audiobook, which was so fun because I could hear Cecily talking because she narrates it. which is just always a fun time when the author narrates their own memoir. I don't really rate nonfiction. I mean, I do, but I feel bad about it. I really liked this. It just was not what I thought it would be. I didn't read the back or anything. I just was like, I love Cecily, so I'm gonna read it. And it was really good, just not what I was expecting. This basically talks about how she lost her cousin, I believe in 2020, and then the pandemic hit, and she was going through a breakup, and it was just really sad, which was still, it was beautiful, and I cried for Cecily, but I thought it was gonna be funny, and it wasn't. But I loved it nonetheless, and I don't feel right rating a story about her dead cousin, so, but it was beautiful, a quick audiobook, and I just love Cecily Strong. I love her. Next up, I read my January book of the month pick, which was What Lies in the Woods by Kate Alice Marshall. Again, I didn't really get what I was expecting with this book. It is marketed as a thriller about this group of girls. I believe there are 3. When they were like 11, they were in the woods and one of them gets brutally stabbed and they send a man away to prison. But then 20 something years later, I believe, they sort of want to start telling the truth because they sent the wrong man to prison. And I thought it was more literary fiction vibes than thriller. I was not scared. I don't know. I thought it was beautifully done. I thought it was really interesting and gripping, but I did get bored a lot because it was sort of slow. But I really did like the story, and I thought it was fun. I thought it was interesting, but yeah, sort of slow. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. I liked it. It just was a little slow, and I love a fast, spooky little thriller. And this was not it, but it was still super good, and I really do recommend. Next up, I read The Blame Game by Sandy Jones. I bought this on a whim because it was half off at Barnes & Noble, and I really liked it. I read it in one day. I read it in like 2 or 3 hours. It's not that long at all. But yeah, I gave it a 4-star. It was super gripping. It was about a therapist who sort of crosses like a line with one of her patients and they become super close, and she wants, or not super close, they become sort of close, closer than a therapist patient should be. It was super good. It was really good thinking back to it. I read this when I was home alone one day at night and I was super spooked. This is a solid thriller. I really liked it, and it was only about, let's see, it's under 300 pages. It's about 245, so super quick, easy thriller, and it really did pack a punch. The ending was a little unbelievable. You have to suspend your disbelief, but I don't really mind that in thrillers. I think the wackier the better. So yeah, I really like this one. Next, I read Who is Maud Dixon by Alexandra Andrews, and I didn't really like this book. I liked it enough, but again, just as some other thrillers, I just did not have good luck with thrillers this month. I usually love a thriller. I usually eat them up. But this took me a while to read, and I had to get the audiobook to like get me through it. Yeah, I thought it was super boring until the end. The ending was really good. Like, the twist got me. The ending got me. But the ride to get there was not my thing. Basically, it's about this super famous author, like one of the best authors in this world, named Maud Dixon, and no one knows who she is. And she hires our main character named Florence to be her assistant. And Florence gets to know who Maud Dixon is. Only one other person in the world knows who Maud Dixon is. And they go out of the country to Morocco, and shit goes down. But shit did not go down till the very end. And But looking back at the end, the rest of it did make sense and like I understood. But I just didn't think the ride to get to the end was very fun for me. So I liked it, but at the end, as I've been saying, super good twist. But the rest of it sort of sucked to me. So I gave it 3 stars. Next, I read my favorite book of the month, of the year so far. It's only been 1 month. But I read Carrie Soto is Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid. TJR is my favorite author. So I should have read this sooner. I should have known. But since it was about tennis, I just did not think I was gonna like it because I'm not a sports girl. But oh my god, I think I like tennis now, and I think I want to play tennis. I'm not gonna play tennis, but I want to. This was the most beautiful story I've ever read. I sobbed my eyes out. I thought I was not gonna be able to breathe at one point in this book, and I annotated it, which I rarely do, and it was just so much fun. I had the most fun ever reading this book. It, needless to say, is a 5-star for me. If you don't know, it is about Carrie Soto, who is a pro tennis player, and it follows her life from when she was a child and got into tennis through now she is pushing 40 and making a comeback in tennis because she retired a few years prior. And it's just about her journey as a tennis player and as a woman, and it has such strong family connections, like with her father, and it was just beautiful, and I just adored it. And I'm kicking myself for putting it off for so long because I got it like the day it came out in, I believe, August last year, and I read it mid-January this year. It was just so good. But I am sad because I only have 1 more TJR on my backlist. I think I haven't read Forever Interrupted, and I want to read it like now, but I also want to save it until I know that we're getting a new book, because the thought of not having any Taylor Jenkins Reid to read is devastating to me. But yeah, I loved this book. Please read it. Next, I listened to the audiobook of 4 Aunties and a Wedding by Jessie Q. Sutanto. I liked this book. Last January 2022, I read File A for Aunties, and 4 Aunties and a Wedding is the sequel. I thought it was fun. I thought it was quirky. It was very funny. It was a great audiobook, but I did not like it as much as Dial A for Aunties. I didn't love Dial A for Aunties. I think I gave the first book a 4, and I gave this book a 3-star. It was fun. I liked it, but yeah, it's not my favorite. But it's a really fun audiobook. This is about our main character's wedding with the man she gets with in the last book, and it follows her and her aunties and her mom getting into the same type of shenanigans as they got into in the first book, but this time it ruins her wedding day, and that made me very sad. I felt for her and her husband. But yeah, fun audiobook, super quick. I liked it. Also on audiobook, I read The Selection by Kiera Cass. I really liked this book. I got recommended it by my cousin, and it was very fun. This follows our main character named America, and she joins the selection, which is basically like a bachelorette type thing, like who can become the new princess of Ilia, like their country. Basically, her and like 30-ish girls are competing to win the love of Prince Maxim, but she has like a boyfriend from back home, and it's like a little love triangle type thing, sort of. I thought it was really fun. I have never read dystopian anything before. I've never read like The Hunger Games, anything, and I really liked it. So I really do, I want to like go back and read all those YA dystopians I've missed out on. And yeah, it was really fun. I gave it a 4-star. Next up, I read The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood finally. I have been putting this off for a while. just because stupidly I was like, it's overhyped, I don't want to read it, which is stupid because I love overhyped books. I love popular books, and this was no exception. I really did like this. I gave it a 4-star. I love Adam Carlson. I love Adam Carlson. He is dreamy. He's a dreamy boy. You all probably know what the Life Hypothesis is about. Basically, fake dating between Adam and Olive, our two main characters, because Olive wants to make her friend think that she has a boyfriend, so she just kisses the first person she sees, which happens to be a professor at her college, Adam. And he is so fine, guys. He is so fine. Oh my god. A book, I did get bored a little bit because it does talk about science quite a bit, which I'm not a science girl, I'm not a sports girl, I'm not a science girl. But it was really cute. I did like it. I liked him. This was a 4-star for me. Next, I read The Fine Print by Lauren Asher. I really liked this too. I also gave this a 4-star. It is sort of thick for a romance. It's about 400 something pages. 430 pages for a romance, which I know there's longer romances, but this was a long one for me. But I did like it. I thought it was really interesting and cute. It was a super fast read, even being over 400 pages. But it's in the Dreamland Billionaire series, which I think the last book came out yesterday. So I want to read the second and the third super soon. I really liked it. It follows Rowan and Zara, and Rowan is like, he is the grandson of the creator of Dreamland Parks, which is like Disney World. In order to get his inheritance from his recently deceased grandfather, he has to like run the park for a few months, and in doing so he falls in love with Zara, who is a creator there. She works she just works there. And it's really cute, and it has really good like representation of disabilities, and I just loved it. It was really cute. And lastly, for January, I read the Elite by Kiera Cass on my Kindle. Wasn't my favorite, but I am really excited to keep going with the series and read the one this month. A 3-star book. I didn't like it as much as the first book. This is the second book in the Selection series. I liked it, but it didn't hit the same as the Selection. I'm not gonna like get into it because it is a sequel, but yeah, I really liked it, and it was a good continuation of the Selection, and I am really excited to continue the series, so I guess it did its job. So yeah, that's all the 13 books I read this January. I'm super excited to start reading for February. I'm already a little way through my first book of the month, and I'm really loving it. So yeah, thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye!